This morning we'll continue appreciating the Heart Sutra. And the section I'm going to talk about today goes like this. O Shariputra, form is no other than emptiness. Emptiness is no other than form. Form is exactly emptiness. Emptiness is exactly form. So we'll just take that much of it. Shariputra was a disciple of the Buddha and was renowned for his understanding of Prajna wisdom. And the disciples of the Buddha were each unique with different capacities and capabilities. Together they became the strength of the Sangha. And the Sangha is like a garden. On the one hand, it's just the one body, one community, one life. On the other hand, it's all the myriad lives and beings in the garden, completely interdependent and completely unique. The mutual interdependence means that each of us is totally affected by every other thing in the garden. Thus, the part is the whole, and the whole is the part. Last time we talked about how Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva saw the emptiness of the 5 conditions. And the first condition is form. So this part of the Heart Sutra states that form is nothing but emptiness. It is exactly emptiness. So we have 2 statements. Form is emptiness and emptiness is form. But they're not exactly the same. You know, in mathematics, if we say A is equal to B, that implies B is equal to A. But here, they're not the same. And they're presented as koans in our system. And they're very important to penetrate and reveal. So the first stage of our practice is to see all things as no other than emptiness. They are no other than the one body. Flowers, trees, manure, insects, COVID-19 virus, God, Satan, all one body. It's everything as it is, including our thoughts of good and evil and right and wrong. Of course, that doesn't make the thoughts right or wrong. They're just thoughts about right and wrong. Everything is absolute. Our practice is to remain attentive and to let go each time we get stuck in our ideas. We need to keep bringing our understanding alive by functioning from that place of form is exactly emptiness. The gap in the difference between our insight and how we live our life. Rather, that's what the gap is. As our practice continues, we need to see that emptiness is form. We need to see and appreciate the difference between things. And that's how compassion arises. We're no longer dwelling in the state of emptiness. Because our true nature is empty, it manifests according to conditions. The possibilities are infinite. In your case, it manifests as your life. You, just as you are the manifestation of the emptiness of Buddha nature. It's not necessary to try to be your true self. You can't be anything else. That's what you are. However, who you are changes moment by moment. There's a tendency to try to restrict who we are in order to feel safe, secure, and in control. Then we suffer because that is not the nature of our true self. We're trying to limit this boundless life. And we're trying to take this boundless life and stuff it into a 130-pound bag of flesh, or whatever it is, 180-pound bag of flesh. Seeing this oneness of life is a turning point in our practice. So many of us practice because we want to clarify what our true self really is. But it's not true as opposed to false. That dualistic understanding will imply that practice is a process of leaving behind what is false and embracing what is true. That's not our understanding. Prajna is everything as it is. We need to see ourselves as it is. Now, the Buddha said that there's no self which you can grasp and identify as who you are. So, true self is no self. But if you conceptualize the notion of no self, you're making it fixed. Emptiness is empty of all fixed notions, of all fixed things. That's the nature of everything. So emptiness, true self, absolute, it can't be described because any description does not reach it. In the Tao Te Ching, it says, the Tao that can be described is not the true Tao. Yet we have many words to describe it. Heart mind, Buddha nature, true self, no self. We even invented words like thusness and suchness, which aren't even yet in the dictionary. You can freely use these words only when you've experienced them. When we see that form is emptiness, then delusion is enlightenment, and samsara is nirvana. When we see emptiness as form, then enlightenment is delusion, and nirvana is samsara. Prajna as such is seeing everything as it is. It does not imply any particular way of acting, but how we function from that realization of emptiness is very, very active. Compassion is a natural activity of prajna. It's like lighting a candle. The flame is analogous to prajna. Compassion is a light and heat, which is the functioning of the flame. As students progress in their practice, sometimes they get stuck or get attached to this state of oneness, to that state of form as emptiness. And there's many koans about this, about students who are stuck and how the teacher deals with them. The point of these koans is to see both sides so clearly that they disappear, that they're not two realities. Yet it's important to see both views so intimately that you can easily move from one view to the other without getting stuck in either one. The two views are not different, they're the same world. In our training, it's convenient to look at it as two different views, like we look at different facets of a jewel to appreciate all of its brilliance. To realize enlightenment is to realize that this very moment has our life. And wisdom and compassion are two descriptions of the oneness of this moment, as are form and emptiness. One of the precepts is to be giving and to not be stingy. To maintain this precept, you have to maintain the one body, the oneness of all things, which is the compassion, which is the functioning of wisdom. In order to realize these lines of the Heart Sutra, our practice always boils down to the same thing. We must let go completely. Usually we practice in order to acquire something, whether it be mental or physical well-being, to increase our powers of concentration, or to be enlightened. Usually our practice is about what we can gain. But the message keeps coming back is to let go. But you say, I don't want to. Well, the practice doesn't care. You have to let go. I remember reading that about the Buddha. He was asked, what has he gained from his practice? And he said he hasn't gained anything, but he's let go of a lot of things. But in the affirming faith and heart mind, it's a line, one of my favorite lines, where it says, don't seek for the truth, just cease to cherish your opinions. In other words, we don't have to seek for anything. If we let go of our opinions, it will shine through. Like on a cloudy day, the sun is always shining. You might not see it because the clouds are obscuring it. But when the clouds separate, there's the sun. So we don't need to make any obscurations or obscure things in ourselves. If we just let go of our cherished opinions, things will naturally open up by themselves.